Howdy, folks. Wonder Montage Survival here. This is Dynamite Dunes. This is the second scenario in the original Roller Coaster Tycoon game. Uh, this park is very interesting. It's set in a desert, um, and you start with this one really. It's a pretty cool roller coaster called the Dynamite Blaster, but it needs some work kind of done on it. I feel like we're not going to do it right off the bat, but uh, in the next episode we'll probably do a little bit of changing to it. In this episode we're going to build up the little entrance area and kind of get the park going with a little bit of revenue, just so that uh, we can afford to make some of the changes and the beautification that I will want to be making a little further down the line. So the first thing we're going to build is a carousel right here by the little oasis that we're going to start with. And then, we'll end up building a log flume over here. The water reservoir is going to be where this little ditch is in the ground, and we're gonna the big last hill of the ride is gonna head right into it. It's a good piece of advice that I learned from Brian and Drozalik is you want to build the feature, like your big feature that you kind of have in your mind before building any of the other elements of a ride. In this case, I saw, the reservoir is going to be right there, so we'll get the ride set up right there. And then we're going to build just a little log flume that kind of goes in and out of this hill, and I really don't know what else I'm going to end up doing with this hill. We're going to be coming back much later and cleaning up some things, and once we have some more scenery unlocked, we'll probably end up sticking some just some scenery, some theming on top of that area. Ooh, I feel like I have to burp. Sorry. I just kind of figured, it's a park in the desert. One of the first things that we're probably going to want is a log flume type ride, just to give the guests something to cool off at. And these rides today are really not very unpopular, but they're fairly unpopular because everyone doesn't really like walking around with soggy clothing, and everybody has electronics on them these days. So it's kind of hard to keep your stuff dry. I also decided to move. I had actually wanted these over here. I'm just kind of stuck in the wrong spot. So I just built this little log flume that just kind of meanders a little bit back and forth. It's only got 5 drops, I think. So it's not anything that's gonna be taking any awards, but sometimes it's fine. Sometimes you just need a ride in order to that does its function. And we're very quickly going to encounter one of the problems that we're going to have early on in this park, which is that our cash is very tight. We start with a loan of $10,000, and then after that, the maximum loan amount only lets us get $5,000 more dollars, so it's $15,000. And building enough of the rides in order to generate sufficient throughput, or also end up using quite a few gentle rides or flat rides in order to uh, get our like soft guest cap, as it's called, kind of raised. Um, but in general, we're gonna encounter. It's gonna be a little slow, kind of getting things off the ground. Right here, I'm just kind of investigating and thinking about how I'm probably gonna end up renovating Dynamite Blaster, but we're not quite there yet. I mean, we're just kind of waiting on a little bit of cash flow and to get some other rides kind of going. I wanted to also see the stats on the log flume, just to make sure I could be charging as much as I was. And the next ride, I believe we're going to build, it's not the Scrambler, the next roller coaster that we're at least going to build is going to be a like Vekoma like family boomerang coaster over top of the small dune over by the cactus patch, just in order to continue to get us a little bit of cash flow again, because that is going to be the thing that we're kind of hurting the most over. Well, I was right. So yeah, we're gonna build the Scrambler over in this little corner. Oh, maybe not. We also just unlocked the information kiosk. And for those who don't know me, I hate the color red, so I decided to opt out of the red umbrellas just about every time. If there is ever anything that comes in red, I'll usually switch it over to like the coral pink or the Bordeaux, like the wine red color. I'm also scoping out this little area for a haunted house, but I don't have the money to do the terraforming that I want to do for it quite yet, so I love these haunted houses, and they actually end up being some of the guests' favorite rides, but they don't really make a lot of money, so I just opt to build the family coaster over here. And I originally had not wanted to use any sandboxing in this series, but I will actually end up doing a little bit of sandbox style changes kind of almost immediately off the rip, and there's going to be a few of the tiles behind this coaster that I will end up purchasing. We will end up using money to actually acquire them, so that's like pretty good. But it's just one tile short of being. I'm sorry. The boomerang it needs a maximum drop height that's just one higher than where it is. So yeah, I will end up cheating just a little, but not a whole lot. I want to try and kind of stay within the Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 style, like kind of as much as possible. But if I find there's just a little bit of a reason to cheat a little, then I am going to do it. You can poo-poo me all you want. I really don't care. It's the world's tiniest adjustment. I end up naming this one Dune Crawler, but I might also change it to Cactus Crawler, because there's so many of these cactuses in the area. We also just unlocked the pirate ship, so we'll end up sticking one of those kind of on near the exit of the log flume, and between the exit of the log flume and the Vekoma coaster. One thing I found kind of interesting is that the cactuses aren't under any of the like normal tabs in the scenery and theming section. It's actually located under the like all items tab, which I thought was very strange. I would expect it to be either in like the trees or the plants and shrubbery like section, but it's not in either. We're also going to go through and we're going to change all the dirt paths into concrete paths. Um, I just when I was younger, I thought like the dirt path was kind of a cool touch to have, but as I get older, I kind of feel like it's um, just doesn't quite feel correct. Um, so yeah, we'll see. I have like a 2.06 and 2.92 rating on this one, and we don't have to be overly worried about stats, but I just know I could get a little bit more out of the ride. So, I mean, it's literally like click and one more. Oh, I might have added two. Good on me. Oh well. There are times where it's so hard to kind of gauge, like, or I just have a hard time gauging sometimes in games if I've done a thing. Go watch some of my Libby Underhill footage and watch me like loot the spawn neighborhood in that one. You'll kind of see I get just confused on which houses I have already hit and which ones I haven't, which is a funny kind of dilemma. Um, and this ride ends up being insanely popular, which is what I love about them. Is they're really compact. They like don't take up a lot of room, and they end up being just like people love them. Um, and I actually really like the style of them, like as well. I just think like when I was younger, I was enjoyed the building like the launch like shuttle loop style coasters and doing these as like a family style or like children's style kind of roller coaster is always really cool to me. I just think they're really fun. So um, yeah, we'll end up building a good number of these. Once again, we're encountering the issue with uh, money, just not quite having enough of it in order to uh, continue to expand. So a little bit of waiting as the money does come in. But now that we have two roller coasters and the log flume, um, we're going to begin building a suspended swinging coaster on top of the very large dune. I think it's really cool to have one over here. Um, I can't remember who it was that did one over here. Um, yeah, I really can't remember who it was that did one over here. But I saw them like set one up over here, and I've just really thought it's a good location for one. But what ends up sucking is we have very little money again to continue to uh, like build up over here. So um, most of this video is going to kind of be a bit of a waiting game, a bit of uh, throwing in a flat ride in this area or that area, um, and then coming back and waiting for the money to be able to work on the suspended swinging coaster. Because for some reason, I mean, the suspended swinging coasters are just really expensive in this game, um, which is unfortunate because their stats are generally like not that great. But I like don't know too much about how. Like I feel like maybe uh, the value of the ride probably kind of ties into whether or not your guests will ride the ride. So, which I feel like is maybe going to end up being the case. I'll kind of find out in the next episode once I get to play around with it in the park. I'm going to change around the color scheme on the swinging ship. Just give it kind of a more evil pirate kind of feel. Also deciding to come back to the Oasis and get some of the work on that. So, how this ride, how I want this ride to kind of work is it's going to be kind of terrain conforming, but it's also going to do a really large tunnel underground. In fact, it's an obscenely long tunnel underground. Um, I feel like it probably, if you were to simulate like Oblivion, it's probably longer than Oblivion's tunnel. I'm kind of talking out my ass, but Alton Towers Oblivion, I think, holds the record for longest tunnel on any roller coaster. Still, I actually don't know. I know it used to. When it was built, it did. And I feel like ours just is even longer than that one. I'll probably also, I won't probably also, I will go back and continue to add more lampposts as well. I know this game doesn't really have any, like the best lamps are the ones in the pirate scheme, the pirate scenery. Um, and we won't have access to those in this scenario, so we're just going to use the regular looking ones. They do absolutely nothing in terms of mechanics except give people something to break when they're angry. But so it's really just something that you have to pay attention to. Um, I'm even considering like the Dynamite Blaster line is consistently a little short. I was kind of thinking about running an advertising campaign. I'll probably also almost instead end up sticking in another ride over there. That'll be in the next episode. In order to kind of help draw and get more guests out to that area. Just because I feel like because there's so much at the front of this park, but very little on the Dynamite Blaster side, we end up having kind of a hard time keeping people over there. But the general shape of this park, or it's not the shape, but it's like what land you own, makes it a little difficult to build the sort of like loops or like circles that the pathfinding algorithm in this game really likes, like building dead ends, which like, so right now, Dynamite Blaster's on a dead end, the Haunted House is on a dead end, and the Log Flume is on a dead end, is really disliked overall by the pathfinding, and then the pathfinding likes it when you build like large circles of paths because it's easier to kind of pick a side to enter on for the guests and then just walk around an area. Yeah, but that's neither here nor there. We'll probably end up coming back and connecting up everything. Because we do, like, we have a very solid foundation actually for getting this park going. I am definitely kind of getting a little ahead of myself trying to set up a fairly expensive coaster over in this one area, but we just have to wait for the money to roll in. but I don't really have a lot of other options. Like, I don't want to put in a full train, even though I do like the thought. It feels like I don't. It feels cool. I feel like having a train go like through this park, um, but it's just kind of difficult, especially with how I have things already spaced out to fit one in a way that like feels natural. Um, so I'm gonna avoid using that. Um, the Ferris wheel's pretty classic, but I don't really know if I have a spot where I necessarily want to put one in, just because they, um, I like you usually want to have like a good line of sight and like something to look at, and I feel like there's just not a whole lot in this area to look at. Um, I think it was. I keep having this run through my ear as well, so I might as well say it. I believe it was Duraclink who pointed out that uh, all of the desert parks in the original Roller Coaster Tycoon have the exact same geography, and it's just where the park entrances and what quantity of, or like how much land you have that changes across each of the parks. Um, so like this one has the entrance from the south, and you start on this far side of the dune, and then like Pacific Pyramids has you kind of coming in from, I guess that'd be the east, and starts you on the other side of the dunes, kind of like the Dynamite Blaster side. Um, I hadn't noticed that, and I mean I've played through most of these campaigns 3 or 4 times. Um, so I'm usually pretty good about noticing stuff like that too. So it's like very subtle how well that is hidden within the game. That these are all literally the same map. I don't have a. I'm not gonna superimpose the two or anything. Put them side by side. But I mean, if you own the game, you can fire it up and check out both. Uh, this one, Dynamite Dunes, Pacific Pyramids. There's one other I feel like. Razor Rock is also a desert park, but that one breaks that rule. There might be one other. I can't remember. We're playing this park right now. I just think it's really funny. And so yeah, with the number of rides that we have now, we kind of have a slightly higher soft guest cap, and we're starting to see a little bit of money really coming in, and so this ride is kind of finally coming together. It's got the big curving or like sweeping first drop, little helix into a drop around the tunnel, and then when it comes out of the tunnel, it comes around another helix, then the big sweeping like hill into the second drop, big turn, and then we're gonna do a little little tunnel into. I'm getting texted by my boss. I'm gonna get back in after this video. I feel bad too because I'm leaving. this video is probably gonna come out 2 weeks after I do all this recording for it. But I'm gonna have to tell him I can't make it because we're leaving for my parents' house this Monday. Here, also on the end of this ride, I ended up wanting to build a brake run and then try and just get like a tiny little like one last dip in before the ride finishes, and I just don't really there's kind of the room for it, but then when I test run it, the roller coaster ended up rolling backwards back into the ride, so that ended up being a no-go. And it's more so just because I'm not letting it go too high in terms... Yeah, I'm just trying not to make this ride go too high. I'm not trying to make it like be this very dramatic, like just oversized kind of roller coaster. I just kind of want it to, again, like kind of conform to the shape of the dune, is what I keep thinking. And so at first I'm a little dissatisfied with the flatness of this area, and so you'll see me kind of go through and set all this up. And then I also am like, well, if it's coming in as fast as it is, I might be able to get it up like one more unit. And I raise it up one more unit, and it rolls back, and I end up just adding a chain lift hill to the hill as it goes into the brake run, and it fits perfectly. So that's how it's going to be. The other issue we encounter is there's almost no area for the exit path, or any sort of entrance or exit to come off on this far side of the dune, and so we have to put both the entrance and exit here on the same side, which is fairly unrealistic, but just is what it is. Sometimes you just have to deal. I mean, it's crazy too. Once I stop building this ride, we immediately have $1,000 in the bank. Like, so we're actually generating a really good amount of revenue just off of our like 2 roller coasters and a couple of flat rides and the log flume. So like the park is actually doing really well. Even if we're not, we're still about 150 shy of where we need to be, but I mean that's like not a bad place to be as we go into part 2. So I'm going to set up the queue line, I'll set up the exit and the access, and then in the next episode we're going to do a little smoothing out of the terrain. I probably am going to build one more roller coaster in this park and kind of add a couple more flat rides in, just in order to give it the right look. I also am having an issue kind of making this area ADA accessible, because I don't want to make the guests travel more than about two elevation changes more than they would. So that's when I saw the coaster falling backwards. I just have the chain lift and it fits. And so I just decided to stick it in over on the Dynamite Dunes access road. Anyways, that's that for the first episode. Thanks for watching. Yeah, take care. Bye.